my first question to you would be, ma'am, like each year, like after the results of the civil services examination is released, and like many interviews such kind are conducted with the toppers and with the people with good ranks, and there is like a plethora of advice or material which is available online. So I would like to, since like I had mentioned to you during our telephonic conversation, that most of the students who will be attending the session today, they tentatively age from 20 to 24, 25. So in light of the same, I would like to commence today's interview by asking you, like, how would you suggest that we beginners, like we are like the ones who are thinking of like going into the field or like giving the exam, right? Like we are still not very much experienced on the same. So how would you suggest that we contemplate giving like CSC? Like how should we convince ourselves to choose civil services as a career option? Or yeah, so if you could please elucidate on the same.
First of all, I'll not give any strategy because, as you said, there are plethora of strategies. I myself have given, I don't remember the number of interviews and the strategies. So there's no point giving you strategies. First of all, civil service preparation is a journey. It's not a one-day affair. So it takes a toll on you. Prelims, then mains, then interview. It's a 1-year complete cycle. So my suggestion would be, first of all, think really deep. Do you really want to get into civil services? What is your motivating factor? What is that drives you to become a civil servant? You should have passion for something. I worked for 5 years in Steel Authority of India Limited. I'm really thankful to the organization. They helped me make me strong financially, but my heart was not in it. My heart has always been in civil services. I wanted to become an IAS officer, and that's why every single day, many people ask, ma'am, how did you kept on your motivation after so many things and all that? There are days I have broken down. There are days I thought I can't do it. Let's just give it up. But then that is what. First of all, make a list. Be logical. You people are, I am thinking this is all your internal students, or you all are lawyers, pursuing law. So I think so you people must be very logical. So make a list of pros and cons. What all is your future career aspect? What do you think if you go further in your law career or any other aspect, if people are wanting to do MBAs or anything, what do you think will help you in that? Second, what is your driving force or your motivation for civil services? Books, strategies, abundance. So don't worry about that. Now your priority focus should be, am I really wanting to take a leap of faith and walk towards this? Because remember, you'll be working and preparing for the examination is little difficult. I don't say people have not done it, but it's difficult. If you're not financially stable, you take up the financial aspect. If you're not financially stable, you don't go for that, stop working and just keep on pursuing UPSC. I was working for that for 5 years because I was not financially stable and I did not want to take that leap of faith. So keep in mind lot of factors, the pros and cons, what is the motivation that drives you, your financial independence, what's your plan for future. Think and then take this step.
Okay, so your suggestion for now would be for us to like make a list of pros and cons, like what, like if we should be following this, like pursuing this career at all first, and then go about preparing for it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is nice to hear. Isha, would you like to go next?
Can you see me? Yeah. Ma'am, good evening, ma'am, once again. Ma'am, you've told us about a lot of important decisions that one is supposed to make while we are still in the student phase of our lives. Ma'am, what is the one, this is in fact a very personal question also from a lot of us, and students would want to know from you who has been there and done that. What do you recommend that one should try to improve or change in oneself, apart from making the main decision of, yes, I want to go ahead? Ma'am, what is the one thing that you should improve in yourself, if I am looking at myself as an aspirant? And what do you actually mean are the values that a civil service aspirant should start inculcating as a student?
When we read for GS4 in civils, there's a paper called ethics, and there's so many qualities which a civil servant should have, but that's an exhaustive list. I always say everyone initially also that you don't become a civil servant one fine day when you crack the exam and enter into the academy. You become an officer in the process. The day you determine that you want to take up this career path, that's the day there's a simple transformations keep on happening within you, and you should keep that alive. Be it a very small thing. I remember back in college, we were in 2009 or 10. I'm talking about then in engineering college. There was a drive by one of my friends that will not use single-use plastic, and we found her very foolish. She used to carry all the plastics in her bag, whichever chips packet, anything we would eat. And I initially for a week or so, I thought, why are you being so foolish? Why will you carry all the things? And then slowly we all developed. And now we are a group of girls from our college who have done it completely. And you know, these are very small things. I'm talking about the small things in you. When you see a poor man, your heart goes out. You know, my interview took place when the COVID pandemic was on. My interview was delayed by 3 months. So every day I would open the newspaper to read. I would have lost my patience because I've been waiting when my interview will happen. And every day I would turn the pages and see those people, those migrants walking back home. I would literally have that lump in my throat thinking, I really need to do this. I want to work for them. That's the passion. That feeling when it comes in you, you'll realize you're becoming a civil servant. So these are small things which will come inside you. And some qualities which I found very helpful in me was fortitude. Develop that unbreaking, what do you say? Do not break down. There will be so many hurdles which will come through your life day in, day out. And another thing is passion. I'm a very passionate person in anything I do. So that two things have always kept me pushing to be where I am today. So be kind, be humble, be a very humble person. It will really take you forward. Have that fortitude that you'll fight through it, and always have this determination that you want to help people. When you have that attitude that you really want to help people, everything will fall in line. Just have patience.
That's really nice to hear, ma'am. That's very straight coming from the heart. Ma'am, there is another question. What is, okay, Indrashish, maybe you want to take this one.
No, you can go ahead, Isha. It's all right.
Okay, ma'am, speaking of, you just mentioned passion, and we were doing all the research about you, and any news that we could gather our hands on. Ma'am, we've come to know that, and I am from the debating community of our college. So ma'am, it's a very again, it's a very personal question, and a lot of us have this question. Ma'am, we have heard that you've been a fantastic debater, and you were quite is it true, ma'am, that you really like debating and comparing and all of that?
Yeah, I was till class 12th. I have been I was the head girl of my school. I was very snooty, and I am a debater. That thanks to my school. They have really developed that attitude of debating all the time. My class teacher would always say, "Why don't you sober down? You're a girl. Why do you have to have a debating attitude every time?" So she was a sweetheart anyway. And comparing, I started doing when I joined Steel Authority of India Limited. We had a group, and I did all their comparing for 3-4 years continuously. It was fun. I really enjoyed. I love stage presence, so I enjoy doing it.
Ma'am, taking forward this this same question, ma'am, how relevant do you feel that all these co-curriculars that you invested your time in, simply because you were passionate about them, how much have they helped you grow as a person and in fact in your field work, ma'am? How much have these extracurriculars and all these things that are actually not relevant to landing a job, sometimes people feel so, ma'am, how much has this helped you become in your own fieldwork now today? Do you feel that debating and having these opinions and just being somebody who liked something extracurricular wise, how has that helped you, ma'am?
Oh, it has. It's one of my bedrock of foundation which has made me who am I today. It's for the debating which I did since childhood. Is why I could put forth my opinions in front of others, not being coaxed down every time. I'm not put down. I can put my opinion. I can speak up. I know what I'm speaking. And one of the biggest fear many people have, we had even a communication session at our academy in Labasna. One of the biggest, there are 10 fears, 10 top fears in the world, and the biggest fear is speaking out in public. It's one of the biggest fear people have. And this is really helpful when you speak up, at least in today's world when there's cutthroat competition where everyone is having an opinion. You should have your opinion. But at the same time, I always feel that you should be debating, you should put forth your opinion, but at the time when you're corrected and you know you're wrong, you should be able to accept it as well. You should be humble at that point of time. Having a balance in both is very important. Putting your views down and as well listening to the other viewpoint. There's so much of cacophony today in the world that we always think my point of view is right. That is where we all make a mistake. So put your point of view, listen to the other point of view, and then have a debate on that. Let it be a fruitful debate. And I think so in my field where I am, where I have to day in, day out interact with people, people who are illiterate, who don't understand anything. To make them understand, I should be articulate enough. And debating has given me that. Articulate, that voice modulation, just so many things which goes into debating. And that has helped me to know where to tone down, where to put my foot, where to speak up. So that has helped. So co-curricular activities is what is so important in today's monotonous academic life. So debating is one of the things I would love to keep on doing forever.
This is exactly what we were hoping for, ma'am, the motivation. Indrashish, you would want to go ahead now?
Yes. So, ma'am, my next question too would be like, over the years we have seen the age group which prepare which starts thinking about preparing for CAC examinations have changed substantially. Like before, majority of the people who used to contemplate preparing for CAC was like in the 90s, like in the 1890s or even before that, they usually like completed their masters and then started to think about preparing for CSC. But now we see that like students just after completing the graduation, like 12th examination, they start contemplating about this. So according to you, is there any ideal age like when students should start like contemplating or thinking about pursuing this CSC as their option? Like yes, ma'am, that is.
Yeah, you're right. There's no right age. Anytime it kicks in that you really are not satisfied with the job you're doing, and then you start thinking that I want to do something else. I want to do more in my life, and then people pursue. But if you are thinking in that direction, even remotely, so the best time is just after 12th, when you're doing your graduation. That's the best time because you have time in your hand. You can plan properly. How do you want to go forward with it? Should you go for masters, or should you prepare? Should you take a year off? So that is the very right time, be it graduation, be it engineering, medical, whatever you're doing. You have a lot of time in hand, and people have been texting me very relentlessly, getting very restless. I say when you're doing your graduation, give time to your graduation. That is important to get your job in future. But at the same time, for UPSC initial years, you don't need to read like 7 to 8 hours per day. At least have 2 hours, 6. Read some specific stuff, like get in touch with newspapers. Newspaper reading is a habit. It will develop. Some people, what they do is, ma'am, I'm not able to read newspaper. I get irritated. If you don't have a habit and you strive to inculcate it, it is going to irritate you. So when you're in your graduation, you slowly start reading, you develop an interest. Anything done without interest is going to irritate you. It doesn't, so during a graduation, gradually take steps, read current affairs, understand various world issues, read newspapers. That's the right time to start. There are people who have done 10th and 12th and thinking me, ma'am, we should start reading now. I said, complete your graduation at least. So it's good to think, but take gradual steps. Don't panic.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. That was very enlightening. And yes, thank you for that. My next question to you would be, ma'am, like ever since you have agreed to like conduct this, like agreed to this interview with us. Like I have been just scrolling through the internet, watching all your interviews and everything. And one very interesting point which I noted in your interview was that you kept on stressing on this point of work-life balance. Like I have watched interviews of many other UPSC aspirants. Like what like they used to like only focus on that. Like they are thinking of cracking UPSC and that is their only aim, and they have no other thing in their view and nothing else. But in your interview you were mentioning on this work life balance and how one should maintain this, and how your inspiration was, like I noted this down, like your inspiration was Rupa Mudgal ma'am, and you read about her. So like ma'am, any other like would you like to like speak about any other inspirations or any other books that inspired you, or any biographies during your course of preparation, like that helped you get this confidence in maintaining a work-life balance, even
I'm not able to recall anything exactly right now, but I would say my work-life balance inspiration has been my husband. So he is the biggest inspiration who has always, he was in a he was in a tech job initially. He used to stay out of India when we were not married, and I would always see in him that he says this work is going to give me money, but the point is, I'm not with you people to enjoy that money. What am I going to do with all lot of money I earned the whole of my life, when the prime years of my life are spent away from my family? So now in my job, it's not about money. It's about helping out people. That's the core aim. But at the same time, this is my family who has been sacrificing since my childhood. My mother didn't do any fancy stuff because she wanted me to grow and become a collector. That is the only word she understands. And my daughter is a collector now. Be it any post I am, she tells everyone that she is a collector. So those are the small things they have done for me. My husband has been sacrificing for 3 years. We have been married, and even before that. So when I have become to this post, they, I don't call my home for weeks together, and they don't complain ever, even now. They accommodate everything I do. And if I don't look out for them and I don't have that work-life balance, the life becomes meaningless. We have to work. Work is important. We do understand. But there's a point in time, family is very important. So you manage both of them, and it can be done. I don't understand why people make it a rocket science that you can't manage it and all that. You can manage both your home and your work and can be happy. When your family life is not happy, do you expect you can go with a happy face, work for the people and be content and happy? You can't. So managing this is really important, and I strongly abide by it. It's in future to see how I'm able to manage it. It's a far-fetched idea, but I really want to.
Two of us never spoken. That was so inspiring, me what you just said, and so true. Isha, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Ma'am, speaking of the work-life balance, and you've already told us about how tough it is that sometimes you're not able to speak with your family for days on end. Ma'am, please tell us, and it's sort of also on a lighter note, that what was the biggest myth that was broken once you started your life as a civil servant?
Myth?
It can be for the good or the worse. Any myth that was broken?
Since childhood, I have been following civil a lot. So there was no myth. I was really knowing most of the stuff. There are many technical things which I didn't know, which I got to know, and I'll not share here. So that's off the record. One was I didn't know I'll not be able to talk to my family for so long. And it is just the starting, and there's so much of, I'm learning to manage, to find those 15 minutes to talk to my family and all that. But on a positive note, I'll tell what this 6 months of training has exposed to me is there is plethora of opportunities for an IAS officer, for an IPS officer, all the civil servants to do so much to the society. Is an immense, sea of opportunities. You just can go forth, and if you really want to do it, you can do it. There are sarkari babus who can just sit and do nothing, and there are many other, issues which put people down. There are issues. I don't deny that bureaucracy is all hunky-dory and it's good. But if a person really wants and want to change, They brought in many speakers from all over India, IAS, IPS officers who have done tremendous work in their field. They're anonymous people. You people don't even know them. But when they speak of their work, it's so inspiring to know that finally when you've been striving, you can do it. Maybe for, imagine a rural village, a poor person, what is his need? Water, food, shelter, hope, basic necessities. They don't have dreams. They don't want to ride a car. These are the basic.
Hello, ma'am. There's an issue
Hello?
with the audio. Yeah, audible.
Just a minute. I'm not able to. Can you?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Please take your time.
Okay. I'm really sorry. I got a call in between. So these are very basic things which a poor person wants, and we can really do it. So I think so. There's huge opportunities. There's that myth that bureaucracy is slow and doesn't work. I think so that is broken, and people are doing work in a lot of places. India is progressing, and we cannot take out those bureaucracy who are actually working behind this to make it happen. So let's take it on that positive note.
Yeah, Indushish, you have some questions? And I also request the participants, if you have any questions, please either raise your hand or just post them in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. So my next question to you would be like, you already mentioned that we are law students, therefore we presumptuously already have a logical set of logical way of thinking, and we should list our pros and cons and on whether we should pursue CSE. So in light,
I'm assuming you people are good lawyers and you have those logical bent of mind.
I would hope. So yeah, in light of that, ma'am, my question would be like, I was reading your profile and I saw that like after you pursued, after you completing your BTech, you pursued a course in sociology, right? So, ma'am, do you think that people with humanities background, do you think they have an edge over other students while preparing for CSE? Considering yourself like that? Yeah.
No, there's nothing as such. I think it's just about how proficient you are in your subject. If I am very proficient in my mechanical engineering, I can do well in that as well. There are people there are many of my friends who are really good at physics, mathematics. They were from that, so they did have that option. So it's all about how proficient are you in it. I had left engineering 5 years back then. By the time I chose my optional, I was working in the core sector, but mechanical engineering was far-fetched for me. I couldn't start from scratch then. Sociology was something, after 10th, I wanted to go to St. Xavier's, Calcutta and pursue art. That was my really expectation after 12th actually. But my parents were strictly against it. Way back in 2008, people had that mindset, you become either an engineer or a doctor. You don't become anything else. And a science student with such percentage never becomes it. It's a sin. So I got through the peer pressure and I did not understand back then well. So taking humanities was always there in the back of my mind. So UPSC was a wonderful opportunity. I thought, let's read it. And that was two reasons. So I had lost touch. Second, I really was interested in it. So humanities people do have an edge if you are really conversant with it. So, and many topics in general studies are linked. Like in sociology was linked to GS1. There was a essay paper. One essay always comes from social issues topics. GS4 had a lot of sociological links. So it does help in that way.
Isha, would you like to go next?
Yes, ma'am. I just got a message. A lot of people are going to also ask questions. Before that, I will complete the set of questions I have here in front of me. Ma'am, I was about to ask you what your biggest learning so far was, or I think I want to shift it towards the end. Before that, ma'am, please tell us something, some personal interesting things that happened during the time of your preparation that probably the aspirants in online today can, you know, relate? Something interesting or something memorable that happened during your preparation time.
Okay. It's been such a long journey. I don't recall from where to start. Something interesting. I did not take up a PG. I wanted to stay alone. So I had my one home where I would cook every day morning. The first thing I would do was get up and have a cup of milk and a bread and sit with the newspaper every single day at 8 o'clock dot. Do nothing and do that. So and the whole day would be spent on just reading. I don't recall doing anything else. The whole day from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock in the night. I don't recall even calling anyone, texting anyone, doing anything. For 6 months, this was the same schedule. So I don't think so I did anything interesting. It's only I started giving my mains answer writing. I started it in December and it ended in March. And the day it ended, I remember going out with a random, I just met that friend she was a colleague in Vision IAS where I was writing tests. We went for a party. The whole day we roamed around in Karol Bagh. So that was the only thing I remember doing apart from studying the whole year. So it was too much of studies. I would suggest people not to go to Delhi. It's not a huge requirement. It was just that I wanted to write somewhere and fully focus on that. So I went down. So that's it. I'm so sorry. I'm such an uninteresting person for these 2 years.
No, ma'am, I think your sacrifices have borne great fruit. But ma'am, still, I mean, were you also like those aspirants who would study and only study? But I mean, we've heard of crazy stories like people locking up themselves in their rooms and just not meeting their own family members. Was it like that hardcore for you, or was it? Would you still go out some weekend, have some good?
I am a huge party person. I am a huge party person. So weekends have to be somewhere we friends would sit down, talk the whole night and have fun. And I am into singing. I sing a lot. So singing is a way I went out. Music is something which is very much close to my heart. Since childhood it has been there. So listening to music, singing, weekends, meeting up friends. The whole week I would study. That Sunday I would write a test in the morning and Sunday would be my day off. I would do nothing on the Sunday. At Sunday I would go out. Delhi, I have visited all the places. Oh, other thing I forgot to add. I'm a big time foodie. No offense to the vegetarian people, but I'm a pure non-vegetarian person. I don't understand what veg food is. So in Delhi, Sundays we used to go on hunt for good food everywhere. So I know all the good places in Delhi to find non-veg. Do contact me. I'll let you know.
Thank you, ma'am. It hits very close home because I think most of the NLUO people are foodies. We also take some time out, and on Sundays we rush off to many good places in and around Bhubaneswar. Indrashish, next question.
Yes, ma'am. So I read in one of your interviews that you have been preparing for CSC since your college days. Like you attempted the prelims a few times. So I don't think it would be too presumptuous of me to say that in course of your preparation you have evolved and improved yourself in any manner, whether it be in terms of improving in terms of giving the examination or developing a work-life balance. So my question to you would be, like, what according to you was the watershed moment in your preparation in 2019 that helped you clear the examination finally?
Indrashish, first of all, I'm really getting scared of you every time you say I've read about you. I think you've read too much about me and I have to know what next question.
It was very interesting, like whatever I was reading. So
I am like, what question is going to hit me next with? 2019, during my college years, my preparation was very, very, immature. Back then, I'm talking about 2008 and 9 when you used to go to a cafe to do Google, Gmail and all those. So internet was not that much in vogue. Second is, as many students now contact me and they say, have the same doubt. Now, what to study, where to study from, where to start. I was at exactly the same place they are now. You know, I just had no idea. No one in my colleagues or my peer group was preparing for UPSC. So I just had no idea. So I just had bought one Tata McGraw-Hill book, which is a comprehensive book of all the GS. So that I read and gave my prelims, and obviously I horribly failed. In 2019, after I left, I resigned from my job in 18. So then my preparation took a peak when I had a lot of material, online stuff, and then slowly it was a huge, failures and getting up that had brought me there. So I was learning from my failure. In 2019, I had notes prepared for every topic. I knew I had to stick to the syllabus. I knew I had to revise from those notes that I have made. I had to have confidence on myself. I had restricted my study material. There was for this topic, I'm going to read from this source. So that was an evolution of 2 years of complete preparation. So those who want to clear in the first attempt, in your building years, this is what you have to do. Find your sources, read the syllabus, make notes of it, and then stick to it. Current affairs is a running thing which will keep on going, but the static part, which you're aware will always be there, like bilateral relationships between India and all the other countries. There are certain basic static things which has been there for years. So notes of that, and you have a steady material. And second is revision. I revised like 2, 3, 4 times. Crazy revision I did. So that actually helped.
Okay, ma'am. So one particular issue which many people often face with respect to shortlisting on what sources to follow in the age of internet is that there are materials available all over the net. Like you just search a particular topic and there is so much information on that, like multiplicity of information. So with all this information available online, like one should of course be aware of the correct sources which one should follow in course of their preparation. So if you could just say what sources did you refer to while preparing for your CSA in terms of like what newspapers you read, or if there was any particular TV channel which you followed, or yes. So if you could just shed some light on that.
See, it was, as I said, it was a long preparation and there was many hit and trials. I went on going in hit and trials, and you people will also face it. If someone suggests, it doesn't mean that it will strike you also as well. Obviously, I read the Hindu. Hindu was something I religiously read and I enjoy reading it. It's a newspaper with no nonsense or other stuff. So it's good to read, and I read it now also. Second is Indian Express. There are certain specifics, like Indian Express Explained is a very good one. So there are a specific topic which is explained very clearly, so you can read that. Second, Only IAS is a YouTube channel. It was started then by a very newcomer, and I really found it interesting. Now he has commercialized it, but it was a good channel. I used to follow it. The Print, they have a YouTube channel. They talk about specific issues. Barring the political issues, they give a very detailed description of a lot of stuff. So that's a good, in free times you can watch it. Rajya Sabha TV, Big Picture is very good, I think. You know, they give facts, data. You know, they talk about it. Leaving apart the political issues, you can always go to, and it's a reliable source. You know, you can always quote that this from Rajya Sabha TV, Big Picture. You can quote that as well. So it's good in a reliable way. And when it comes to current affairs, I had been following Vision IAS, Insights on India has their own current affairs series, so I follow that, and Forum IAS. See, I don't stick to one specific because some websites pick up certain news, some websites pick up certain news. So you have to be fast enough to scroll. When I go to sleep in the night, current affairs, 3-4 sites I open, read it quickly. Then half an hour, I used to solve 10-15 questions, short question, objective type question. So just before going, it triggers your mind. You do that. You don't feel sleepy also. You solve questions and then you go to sleep. So keep that as a habit when you're seriously preparing, not in the initial years. When you're really knowing, because if you start to solve question and answers now, you'll feel dejected. I don't know this. I don't know that. How will I do? So don't do now. 1 year of preparation and then start. That will help.
So, ma'am, with respect to what you said about reading newspapers, like one thing, about reading newspapers that often people face this difficulty is that, particularly with respect to the Hindu, is it is very detailed and quite arduous, and the English and the linguistics is often a bit jargonic. So, is there any particular section of the paper which you would suggest we follow, like people follow in particular, or like should they read the entire newspaper from the back?
No. Usually we read the editorial pages, the economy page, the world affairs page, and initially I don't think so, except for the front page certain news, the other pages are of not of much use. Sports enthusiast could also read the sports page. I was never a sports enthusiast. And world affairs, editorial, and 1-2 pages more. That's it. And yes, you're right. The language is bit too much of English, which people say. But you always have a dictionary. Develop that habit of reading it and learning that language. It really helps when you write good English in the examination. It does have an edge. So you can try.
Ma'am, I have a couple of questions coming in from our attendees, and they are DMing me personally also. Ma'am, there is another fan. It's not only Indrashish who has seen a lot of your videos. One of your fans has written a question. Ma'am, how did you build up your knowledge about different sculptures? Because I was watching your interview where you were just stunning with the knowledge that you had about different sculptures. So that's the question.
When you start reading, preparing for UPSC, that's the first thing you will read. And they will make you ratify it. So don't worry. It's not a miracle. Many people have been asking, how do you know this Dravida Nagara culture? Art and culture is for prelims, and because you have to ratify it. I had learned it by heart. And then we live in Bhubaneswar, you see, city of temples. So I have seen all this by first hand. So I read it from there. Don't worry. That's the first thing you will read when you start your preparation.
Ma'am, the next question is, since we are talking about newspapers, sometimes it takes a lot more time than required. There are topics which seem very important with no end to information. For example, the latest Naxal attacks. There is wide amount of GK attached to it, security organizations, ways to tackle it, response of other states, past attacks, etc. Can ma'am refer a way to approach such topics?
You are right. Naxal attacks, it's like, when did the Naxalism begin in India? What are the forces involved in it? It's even a mains question and even the prelims question. So one thing you must remember is this Naxal issue which has started, it will not end in a one-day affair in a newspaper. This will go on for a week. So think that you have a week's time to cover this topic. Okay, so if it's an important issue, and once you completely cover this issue, Naxal attack will again happen after 6 months or 5 months. It's the way. I don't say that it's going to happen, but it may happen.
Yes,
so your topic has been covered. So take your time, research it completely. When you're making notes, my notes making was, I never prepared for prelims. I prepared for mains. So take the syllabus of UPSC, GS 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 topics, subtopics. You should have a copy for each, GS 1, 2, 3, 4. And read the syllabus, ratify the syllabus completely, learn by heart the syllabus, and then Naxal attack, I'll link it to GS2. When there are security issues, or GS3. And then make a note, have a paper, leave 2-3 pages. Start writing about what all issues have come in the newspaper today. When you leave 2-3 pages, next day again the news is repeated. There are certain organizations who are involved, the CRPF and other Cobra commandos. So Cobra commandos can come in prelims question. When were they established? Where are they located? What are their uses? So short answers on that. So that is how you make notes. And the newspaper reading issue, obviously initially when you don't have a habit, 1.5 hours I used to take to complete a newspaper. But then you slowly develop that habit to skip through pages. Page number 2, page number 3 is all political issues. BJP did this, Congress did that. You don't need to know. So skip. What we think is, kuch important miss to nahi ho gaya. Should I scan through it again? So that things come to your mind. Do remember, kuch miss nahi hua hai. Agar miss ho gaya, to agli bar you can cover it up. So try skipping those pages very fast and go to editorial, world affairs, economy, and finish it up. Keep it in back of your mind. I have to finish the paper in 1 hour. Make it to 45 minutes. That's the max you need to take to complete. So it will come with habit. Don't worry.
Ma'am, some more questions. What are some ancillary examinations which have a similar pattern and should be attempted along with the UPSC and state PSC? So what are some ancillary examinations?
I'm just trying to think. I have basically prepared for these 2 examinations, so I do not have much of an idea. But UPSC has many other examinations which you can see through them. SSC, this kind of pattern is basically in UPSC and state PSC. The SSC CGL, which is there, that has a complete, the CSAT wala format. Maths and this non-verbal reasoning and all, verbal reasoning and all those stuff. So basically, this format is basically in state PSC exams only. This format you won't find. Others you will find objective only. Maybe in SSC CGL, which is SSC CGL is a good exam. You people should keep it as a backup. You become assistant commandant and you get an assistant in CAG. There are very good postings, assistant income tax officers, and they are Group B officers which you get posted in Central Secretariat in New Delhi only. The prelims is objective like as in this, but the mains is subjective. So maybe this may help you. Once you start preparing for UPSC, other exams will seem much easier too. So don't worry, you can keep on doing this as well. And people can, many people go for banking exams. Like even people go for grade B RBI. That's also a very good post. So you can try for that. It's very tough, but it's a very good one. So RBI grade B, SSC CGL, staff skill selections in Central, these all are the exams you can
go. So aspirants, please note. There were a couple of questions, ma'am, repeating of repetitive nature that, asking you to speak about note making and doing your own due diligence of note making. So, ma'am, I think you've already covered that. Ma'am, we have a very interesting question from Prajwal. He says, bureaucracy acts as a bridge between the government and the people of the country, hustling through both groundwork and political leadership. In your experience, how do you manage to find the balance between what is asked from you to be done and what you want to do?
That I will have to find out. You can ask me this question maybe 5 years down the line when I'll be in a better position to answer. But at the end of the day, we haven't even been taught. We were said in the academy, and we all discussed. The end of the day, the goal of all of these people, the political leadership, the bureaucracy, is for the betterment of the people. We don't have to get elected. The political leadership has to get elected every 5 years. They have to go back to the same people. So what I want to do is help those people. So ultimately, if the people are getting benefited, they are being helped. So everything is all right. So my ego or my wish that I wanted to do this and I was not let to do is immaterial then. If people are getting benefited, so I'll put forth my views. And second is political leadership. If they are wanting to do something which doesn't fall in line or it's not proper, you can always put your foot down. That much, fortitude you have to have. I told you in the beginning also. That's a characteristics I have developed over the years, and I hope so I can take it forward. And I just think future will tell how will I perform. Maybe right now I may speak big stuff and maybe not be able to do it in future. So I just hope for the best that I can work for the people and everything happens for the best of the people.
Another question, ma'am, and I think we'll have to quickly wrap up because it's all a time-bound session. This is Akshita asking, being a woman yourself, how would you define and there's some kind of a... could you please mute yourself? 1 second. Participant. Subhashish, there is one Subhashish. Okay. Coming to the question, ma'am, sorry for the disturbance. Being a woman yourself, how would you define and dictate the journey for a woman IAS aspirant? This is one of the questions from the students.
I would start by saying that I have been a very lucky girl in that sense, for never having felt that discrimination which you feel initially in your ages, whenever you strive for something. My parents have been highly supportive, and I've been very lucky to get in-laws who have been like all out on making me just study and achieve my goal, and so is my husband. But yes, I have seen many of my friends who have to fight a lot to go through this. There is a certain age when people start asking you, let's get married. How many years do you want to spend in this, keeping on the preparation? So marriage factor, and then after you get married, there's this child factor, and there are a lot of things which hold you back. But then maybe it was my determination, your determination, when you think that no, I want to do it. But I don't say that everyone is as lucky. Sometimes people do give in to their parents' wishes or to society's wishes that, okay, fine, let's get married, or let's not pursue this goal. It is difficult. It's absolutely difficult being a girl, being a woman. I don't say it's not difficult for the guys. You people also have to strive because you have to provide for the family. And when you don't crack this examinations, the pressure is double. You're not earning. How will you support the family? But being a woman, it is difficult. And for me, what has worked is my determination. Zid, which you say, na? It was my zid that I want to do it. So I was ziddy about it, that this is something which I want to do, and whatever may come in my way, I don't want to do so. And people will try to put you down every single time. There are a lot of people who will always try to put you down. And when I was working as a woman in a steel sector, which is completely a male bastion, the thing which was done initially was I wasn't assigned to jobs which are male, and I will not be given that. But then they saw that I would, what we have to do as a woman is, the place which is a male dominated area is you have to prove yourself twice. Every single day I have to prove myself that yes, I can do this job better. Yes, I can do this job. So yes, you have to put in that extra effort, but don't ask for favors. Don't ask that I am a woman, I should get a separate line. If you are talking about women or gender equality, let's start thinking as equals, na? Let's not ask for this mere liye separate line ho, mere liye kuch extra ho. Reservation and all is different. Let's not talk about that. But start behaving that way and put your foot down that I want to do this, I'll do this. There will be resistance. There will always be resistance. But it's you who can, prove others wrong and be a role model for others. Put that thing in your mind that I have to become a role model for others. There are girls who don't even get to study even 12th. You have reached this level. So think about all those people who haven't got this opportunity, and you will fail.
Ma'am, Industry is correct.
So, ma'am, I'm getting this question quite a lot, that this one particular aspect of in course of CSE preparation in which people often get cold feet is the essay writing part of like in mains, right? So like there are many controversies, like what kind of topic should you choose, and what should your preferences be, and how you should go about preparing for the particular section. So like what would be your suggestions? Like how should one overcome the initial inertia to start writing an answer in mains? Like what would you
the initial inertia breaking the ice would be start writing, be it as bad as it may be. The moment you start writing is, debating has helped me a lot in essay writing, because I used to debate a lot. I know I always had this pros and cons in my mind, so that had helped me a lot. Second is practice. Before my 2019 attempt, I had written around 12 essays in total. I wrote 6 tests, two essays each test, and that developed. When you keep on writing, ideas keep on flowing. So when you suddenly think that one fine day I'll sit in the exam hall and start writing, it will be difficult. I understand the inhibitions. It's always there when you want to do something new. And third is choosing the topic. First of all, we always do a thought framework. Half an hour in the examination, 3 hours. 2.5 hours is writing. Half an hour is divided into 15 minutes. You make a thought framework. You choose a topic. You write all the points, and then you start writing. Because sometimes while writing, you may miss out certain points. And when you do a thought framework, we call it thought framework, that helps. And always choose a topic which is close to your optional, or any GS you are very conversant. Imagine you are very conversant in international affairs. So choose a topic related to that. I always used to choose topics based on social issues because I had sociology as an optional, so I could always input into it. So that is how you relate. And go through last year question papers, you'll always see a pattern in the essays. There is specific areas where questions come on. My essay strategy is completely there in YouTube, how I prepared. I basically focused on Anudeep Durishetty. He was 2017 batch rank 1. He had a very nice essay strategy. You can read his strategy online as well. So start doing that. It will really help. And you can see my YouTube video also. It's there in somewhere. So there also I have mentioned specifically. And any other specific queries you have on any specific topics, I have my Twitter account. I'll just share it with Indrashit or Isha. They'll share it with you. You can DM me there. Every weekend I have a practice of replying to all the DMs on any specific topics. So I'll help you out on that, on any specific issues you have.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for that answer. So we are kind of running out of time, I presume. So my final question to you would be, ma'am, like, do you deem coaching for CSE preparation, considering you yourself did not go for any coaching and prepared all by yourself, do you deem it mandatory or discretionary?
Obviously discretionary. It's not at all mandatory. And in today's age, when everything is available online, and you people should thank COVID for this, that everything has gone online. No one has to go to Delhi. No one has a Delhi advantage now. So time is working on your front. At least for 2 years now, you have this advantage. Everything is online and all topics are there. Coaching is for those people who just have absolute no idea. They're just like blank. They're a clean slate. They don't understand. They want someone to handhold them and teach them where to start, where to read. But if you have this basic ideas, there's no point spending 1.5 lakhs for a year and going there. Everyone can't afford it. My basic reason was I just simply couldn't afford it. So when there's a problem, you'll find a solution. If I can't afford it, I will go for online studies and I have to read online. So, and I cracked it, you see. So you don't have to go for online or those coaching institutes and all that. And all the coaching institutes are putting up all their resources online. Let's not blame them also. They're doing a lot of good work as well. So if those who can spend, they can go and spend. Those who can't, Vision IAS is all the resources online. Rouse IAS has started a new initiative online. It's really good, I have heard. Forum IAS puts on all the editorials, all the exams online. So go for all of that. Little bit mehnat. Ab jab you have a dream which is so high, you have to do little bit of mehnat, right? If you don't do that much of mehnat, then what's the aim of having such a high dream, big dream, So you'll need a lot of things to do on that. So you can do it online. So no need for going for a mandatory coaching.
Isha would like to go on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. In fact, people were asking about notes and all. I think they've already started making a lot of notes from this one webinar with you. We are so super motivated. Ma'am, I would request one of the faculty members, I think Dipanvita ma'am is here. Dipanvita ma'am, if you could please give ma'am the vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. Good evening to you. And
good evening, ma'am.
Thanks and thanks for your times. And you have motivated our students a lot. I feel that they are enriched by this session. Nor apart from just your personal achievement, I feel that you are an impeccable speaker and a motivator too. So next time when our college reopens, we suppose that we can give you a larger mass to interact with. That would be great. So if you can make time for that. And I feel very privileged for giving you the vote of thanks for this evening. So and I too have gone through most of your interviews as well, and it has motivated me as a teacher, to be very honest. So I always used to consider myself very ordinary, but I go through some of the interviews of great people, and I considered you as one of them. So thanks for being with us. We feel very feel very privileged, honestly. Means
Thank you,
having
thank you, thank you
was
so
a
much,
great
ma'am.
feeling.
I would really love to come down to Odisha any opportunity I get. So I would be looking forward whenever the college reopens, and I'll rush to that. I really want to go back there as soon as possible. And the other thing which you said, ma'am, that you feel you're ordinary, teachers are the one who made me where I'm standing today. Those ordinary teachers, those people have made me who I am today. I could never forget. My parents were always busy making ends meet, providing for us. They never had time to nourish me, to care for me, to think what I am doing, what I am studying. Those are my teachers who have acted as my parents. They have funded my whole of my education from standard 1 to standard 12. I couldn't have studied if my teachers would not have helped me. You people are not ordinary, you people are extraordinary.
That is your humility.
No, ma'am, I cannot think of,
That
at least I
humility.
know.
So
And
that is it.
I
That
would
is,
just like to, sorry, ma'am.
yes, please continue.
No, I'll just like to tell all the students who are listening to us today, and we were a part of this. Thank you so much for this patient listening. You could hear me for an hour. It's a long time. I kept on speaking. I wish I was there physically and we could have a good interaction. All the very best for your future endeavors. Always think sky is the limit. And for the females and the women, there's nothing called we are women and we can't do this. We are women, we can't do that. I have always, whenever you think that you can do it, people will help you. And men are not the villains. Absolutely not. My father, my father-in-law, my husband, they're the biggest supporter in my family. And if you think that you will want to do it, they'll obviously support you. And all the other small queries you have related to UPSC, you can always DM me on Twitter. I'll gladly help you. Maybe I'll not respond immediately, but do give me time. I'll do respond as far as my time permits. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, there is just one thing I would like to mention. Every time we have a course plan presentation, the authority, the administration would ask us to put something that is related to civil service examination to give it to the students. I think next time we can also have a session with you which would be solely teacher related and how to improve our syllabus when it comes to, IAS, cracking IAS or CSE. So maybe like we can have a session on that. So I am telling you means prior so that you can keep yourself ready, because I also means I'm an English teacher, so I always try to put some of the plays and the novels which are like might come in civil service examination.
Okay.
So that
No,
is
we
it.
can have that. We can have that discussion so that we can talk out something, maybe a detailed discussion, and then we can do it. Yes, ma'am. It's possible we can.
Yes, it is very important for the students, because at our time I never got any kind of support or any kind of means. Now at my age I feel that why I haven't written the exam.
No,
Like, I'm
very,
very
ma'am.
quite happy.
You will create hundreds of IAS officers now.
Yes,
That
of
will
course.
be your
Yes,
achievement.
IAS officer, lawyers, judges, everything.
Lawyers, yes, you will create all of them. So that's your achievement in life.
And thank you again. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
ma'am.
It was nice speaking to you.
Thank you.
On behalf of both the committees, ma'am, we thank you for your precious time. And we would also like to thank our registrar, sir, Dr. Professor Yogesh Pratap Singh, sir, to giving us the permission and always supporting us to reach out to luminaries like you who can guide us students. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Dvanuta ma'am, for helping us arrange this session. Thank you, Indrashish. And thank you all the attendees for being so patient and sending us such enthusiastic and very keen questions. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. We still have a few questions coming in, but please do share your Twitter handle with us if possible, and we would love to reach out to you. Like, we would love
if everyone could just show on your videos, I could see certain faces and then we could leave. I just saw this Indrashish and Isha, so I'm bored of their faces. See some people.
Please switch on your cameras.
Please do.
Hi guys. Oh God.
We'll quickly take a photo, ma'am. All of the committee members and all the attendees.
Hi. I could see Akshita. if I'm pronouncing the names correctly. And and everyone is shy. Okay, no issues.
Rajwal, if you could
We'll
quickly
meet
take
next.
a picture of all of us. And ma'am, we have this small ritual of showing the peace sign. So if you could also do it, we'll put it all across. Okay, guys.
Chalo. Bye. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.
Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.